you just hate it when your dad takes his favorite toy out, slaps it on his arm, throws you off a cliff, and then snaps his fingers to get rid of half of all life in the universe?
Yes.
Well, that's exactly what happened to poor Gamora in Avengers Infinity War. She blindly followed her dad's orders, and look where it got her. Luckily, past Gamora is back on the main timeline to join the Guardians of the Galaxy. Or is she?
I don't know if that's possible.
We think there's a chance she may have died when Tony Stark snapped his fingers at the end of Avengers Endgame, and here's why. Even though Spider-Man Far From Home is the most recent MCU film, and it left us with plenty of unanswered questions, this theory has nothing to do with the movie. So, if you're looking to avoid spoilers, this is a spoiler-free zone. You're safe with us. What we're still trying to do is wrap our heads around Avengers Endgame. It already feels like the movie has been out for a year, and it's only been a few months. While everyone in theaters all around the world were freaking out over the epic battle in Endgame where all of our heroes went toe-to-toe with Thanos' army, especially when Cap picked up Mjolnir and proved his worth, we noticed something a bit odd once the good guys won and the fight was over. Do you remember the scene at the end of the movie where all of the Guardians of the Galaxy hop aboard the Benatar? You know, the one where Thor calls them the Asgardians of the Galaxy and jokes with Star-Lord about who's in control? While we'd love to see that power struggle in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that's a video for another time. You may not have noticed a little detail in this scene because you were so full of adrenaline from the Battle of Earth. Right before Thor starts talking to Peter Quill, or Quail as he called him, Star-Lord was searching for Gamora in the star maps. But wasn't Gamora just with them? We see literally all of the Guardians of the Galaxy together on the Benatar, but no Gamora. When Professor Hulk put on the nano gauntlet and snapped his fingers, he brought back everyone who was lost in the decimation caused by the Mad Titan snap. Not those who were thrown off of a cliff so Thanos could get his hands on the Soul Stone, or those who got a stone ripped out of their forehead. This also meant Vision didn't come back, and we had to see him die twice in Infinity War. This all means that the 2018 Gamora we saw in Infinity War is gone for good. The Gamora we saw in Endgame was from 2014. She only got to the main timeline because when 2023 Nebula went back in time in 2014, she encountered 2014 Nebula, who switched places with 2023 Nebula so 2014 Thanos and his army can make their way to 2023. Yeah, those are a lot of numbers, but you've seen the movie so you know exactly what we're talking about. Now, in Endgame, before the Battle of Earth, we saw 2014 Gamora interact with 2023 Nebula. On Thanos' ship, the Sanctuary 2, Gamora asks the future Nebula what happened between them. Did they stay enemies or did they finally become friends? Nebula says that she tried to kill her a couple of times, but eventually they do form a bond as sisters and become friends. Now after this, Gamora admits that she had her reservations with Thanos and didn't think he was as noble as he thought he was. So she decided to finally pull the plug on the mission and turn on the Mad Titan. But was this too little too late? Is it possible that, despite Gamora having a change of heart at the last second, the Infinity Stones still deemed her part of Thanos' army and dusted her along with them? Think about it. Other than 2023 Nebula, everyone in Thanos' army was from 2014. He already assembled his team and brought them from a different timeline to the main one. Does that mean the Infinity Stones just wiped out everyone who came from 2014, including Gamora? By now, it's common knowledge that the Infinity Stones have a mind of their own. They're not just powerful artifacts, they can actually think for themselves and manipulate those who are in possession of them. Remember Loki and the scepter with the Mind Stone? It turns out that the Mind Stone was manipulating Loki, which is why he did all of those evil things. While he is the god of mischief, so you never really know what he's up to, he's actually not a bad guy. That means it's also possible that the Infinity Stones could have simply deemed Gamora a bad person who worked for Thanos at one point and then got rid of her. But it's also possible that the Stones are very straightforward and thought that she was still a part of Thanos' army, since she was from 2014 after all, and decided to turn her into dust. But then, wouldn't the Infinity Stones have also gotten rid of 2023 Nebula because she worked for Thanos many years ago? Well, not quite. You see, while Nebula was a pure villain back in 2014, she underwent quite the transformation in Endgame. We saw a Nebula who learned to be compassionate, care for others, and most importantly, work with the team. Also, when 2014 Nebula returned to Earth in disguise and Clint Barton gave her the gauntlet, she was about to kill him until Gamora and 2023 Nebula intercepted her. They tried to convince her to leave Thanos, but she refused, which forced 2023 Nebula to kill 2014 Nebula. If we were the Infinity Stones, we'd be completely satisfied with that and would not have dusted her when Tony Stark snapped his fingers. While we also saw 2014 Gamora turn on Thanos and transform from a villain into a hero, she wasn't the one who killed 2014 Nebula. It's possible that it wasn't enough to satisfy the Infinity Stones, so they sent her packing, which means she may have stayed if she was the one to kill 2014 Nebula. Maybe, just like with humans, actions speak louder than words to the Infinity Stones, and they didn't see enough from Gamora to keep her alive. If all this lack of Gamora after the Battle of Earth still isn't enough evidence to prove that she died for you, then think about Tony Stark's funeral. Okay, don't think about it too long because you might start crying, but think about who attended the private ceremony that took place outside his lake house. It was a who's who of the MCU with plenty of characters, including those you probably forgot about, like Harley Keener, the kid from Iron Man 3, making an appearance. Tony Stark had a profound impact on the lives of so many people, but not Gamora. That's right, Gamora wasn't there either. Sure, it's true that she never met Tony or any of the Avengers because she's from the past, but that doesn't change the fact that she was literally nowhere to be seen after the final battle. When speaking to Fox 5 DC, Anthony Russo said, "The argument could be that Tony wished away all the evil, the enemy, so is she still alive? Who knows? That's a story for another time." Then Joe Russo added, if Tony, in fact, wanted to eliminate Thanos and his army, was Gamora at that moment still part of that army? In typical Marvel Studios fashion, they didn't put all their cards on the table and were playing very coy. It seemed like they were keeping it open-ended just so we here at CBR could make a video about it. If that's the case, thank you, Russo brothers. Very cool. But seriously, the fact that they're keeping her fate a secret is very interesting. Of course, if we're playing devil's advocate, which we like to do from time to time, it's also completely possible that Gamora didn't die and is alive and well in the MCU. She just booked it to an unknown location to get away from everything and spend some time alone. Where could she be? Well, definitely not Xandar, because Thanos decimated that planet to get the Power Stone. If we had to guess, we'd probably say she's just chilling on nowhere since there's not much going on there other than some mining operations. Is she going to find a way to join the Guardians of the Galaxy with her sister Nebula? Is she going to turn into a villain and become an enemy of the group of people who killed her father despite going against him in the Battle of Earth? Who knows? What we do know is that alone time could allow you to reflect and see things clearly, but it could also make you angry. Angry enough to become a villain. Zoe Saldana, who plays Gamora, supposedly has at least one more movie in her contract, and everyone believes it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. When talking about the future of Gamora in the MCU at Seattle's Ace Comic-Con, Saldana had this to say, quote, "There's a part of me that wants her to go back to the Guardians, but there's also a part of me that wants to explore a bad Gamora. I've never seen that, and she's considered the most lethal assassin, the most lethal woman in the galaxy." End quote. While we'd love to see Gamora make her way back to the Guardians of the Galaxy and restart her relationship with Peter Quill, we're more interested in what Saldana said about bad Gamora. It would honestly make a lot of sense for Gamora to come back as a villain. We all expect Adam Warlock to make an appearance in the film, so could he find a way to bring Gamora to the dark side and, along with the Sovereign, create an army capable of taking down the Guardians? We'd pay good money to watch that happen on screen. It also pretty much made Gamora and Nebula swap roles. While that's great that they made up and became friends before Gamora got chucked off of a cliff, we found it more entertaining to see them as rivals. With Nebula going from villain to hero, it'd be just as compelling to see Gamora go from hero to villain, keeping these two at each other's throats and making us happy in the process. At the end of the day, Peter Quill wouldn't be searching for Gamora in the Benatar star maps if she was still around. Something definitely happened to her, and we can't wait to figure out if she's gone for good or just away from society. Come on, Marvel Studios! Just spill the beans already! And that's why we think Gamora may have died after Tony Stark snapped his fingers in Avengers Endgame. What do you think about this theory? Is Gamora gone for good or not? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more MCU videos. Thanks for watching.